Hey, Tanya.
Hi. So when you're talking about there's like the two paths, they both lead to the same place. The 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 part, the Western, where you're kind of allowing the trauma as when
Mhm.
you're triggered, and then the original path that you were talking about, where we're
Yeah,
the juncture of the knower and the knowing. Um, Can those kind of run simultaneous? Like, can you kind of be on both paths at the same time, or do you kinda need to focus on one or the other?
I think it's often better to focus on one or the other at first, but once you start to understand in direct experience the difference, you can do them both at the same time. So think of so when you're allowing the recognition of awareness and your self-awareness to be primary, in certain situations in your life, that's going to be easier than others. Like if you sit at a beach and you look at a horizon, it can be quite mesmerizing to recognize yourself as awareness. If you find your way into a deeper meditation, it can be easier. Some people find it, as I said a few weeks ago, some people find it easier with thoughts, emotions, sensations. So your natural state is to be free of all experience. But sometimes an appearance will come along that will be very, very strong. And your ability to let it arise, abide, and subside can be challenged. And you might think, oh, look, me, I'm not awake anymore. I've forgotten to be awake because now I'm angry at Peter. And this is a fallacy, it's not true. But what we can do is we can practice focusing on those stronger triggers by really allowing the actual trigger. It's just the reason why I started doing this is I was having a conversation with my mother and she didn't understand anything about non-duality at all. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it was about my brother who's in a situation not very well. And she was sad about that. And I just started, I said, look, just allow, she didn't understand or was incapable of allowing everything to be as it is because she doesn't want my brother to be unwell. But when I said, allow your sadness, she's like, I can do that. So it is a similar path. It's just a little bit more accessible in certain areas. And by the way, when I said they lead to the same place, that was a little bit not quite accurate. They lead to this, they both create a sense of relief. But the non-dual path is more expansive in your total liberation because it can carry you. And the whole point of the non-dual path, at least according to the Dzogchen teachers, is it prepares you for death, right? Because you've gone beyond emotions, you've gone beyond sensations, gone beyond sense of self. In the other path, I call it emotional allowing, there's still a sense of self. That's not going to help you when you're in the extremes of life, but it helps you in that particular moment. I feel furious. I'm going to allow myself to feel this fury. Everything starts to calm down. So, to answer your question, if you feel that you're having a lot of triggers in your life and that the non dual path is fascinating, but maybe not so accessible, or it might be a good idea to switch to the other path for a while because it's like a preliminary practice. And this is basically, I try to keep it succinct. I do know I talk a lot about this, but that's why they had temples. You're some person, you go to a temple, you spend 10 years sweeping, cleaning, meditating. You don't even get to the teachings, right? And that was all of the clearing out of the vasanas. And then the head monk will say, right, you're now ready for these advanced teachings. We don't do that now because we have the internet. So people are just dropped straight into the highest levels of non-duality. There's so many channels out there that talk about this. And so what I'm trying to recreate is an entry point that helps people just in their life right now. Because to be honest with you, right, no one actually wants to be awake. as such. They want to be happy. They want to feel relief. And this is my opinion anyway. And there's different ways to find that in your life. And to me, I offer this non-dual talk because I absolutely love it. And it's been the most powerful thing I've ever come across in my life. The second most powerful thing, which is way more accessible, is to work directly on emotions in a similar way. I'm just going to turn this off because that's my alarm. Sorry about that. So that's a long answer to your question, but basically, it's often better to choose one, but it doesn't really matter as much as you might think. You still can do both, but um, it's a bit of a difficult way to clarify. I don't know if I did a good job. I did my best, but it's one's probably better. I would suggest if you feel called to one or the other, you will know. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Okay, brilliant.